We are live talking about another Santa Anita Pick 5. Time to preview the Pick 5 for Saturday, June the 3rd, the late Pick 5. That includes the Grade 2 Summertime Oaks. We have Seminar Skip here alongside Gino Bacola. We don't have the driver of our ship normally. That is Chappie. He's off for the week, Skippy, but you and I can do our best. It's like one of those games when you're missing your top player, your leading scorer. You and I just need to score a couple extra buckets this game, right?
We got it covered, buddy. We're good. Yep. Chappie's on a little trip, a little vacation, having a good time, so we'll pick up the slack for him.
And we have a very nice Pick 5 to dive into. Starting to get that sad feeling because we only have a few weeks left of the meet now. Closing day is just, I think, 3 weekends away from now. So 3 more weekends at the Great Race Place before we'll shift to the summer racing. But we have some good races this weekend. A Grade 2 Summertime Oaks, and a race I'm excited about on Sunday too, Skippy, is actually the Affirmed. We're going to see Go Rocket Ride versus Skinner, a couple horses who we really thought highly of. Both of them have had small physical issues that forced them to miss races. I think for Go Rocket Ride, it was the Santa Anita Derby. For Skinner, it was the Kentucky Derby. But now they're ready to go, and they're going to line up against each other on Sunday.
Yeah, we got a great weekend of racing. I am definitely looking forward to the Affirmed Stakes. But first and foremost, we need to make some money tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, we got to build that bankroll. Don't forget, if you are a fan of all other sports and horse racing, we know you're a fan of racing if you're watching this show, there are free contests every single weekend on Saturday and Sunday. You can enter for free and you get $500 if you win. The website pick'em.santanita.com. You can get there right from the Santa Anita website. And these are combinations of 12 questions that give you sports props. This weekend on Saturday, Dodgers Yankees. So there's a lot of questions about that game, Dodgers Yankees, which will be very popular. Sunday, there's lots of questions that are involving the NBA Finals, Game 2, Nuggets and the Heat. So get involved in that Saturday, Sunday. While you kick back, you watch the races, you can get more action for free as we dive into the late Pick 5 for Saturday. So let's get there, Skippy. For those of you who want to follow along with us, that late Pick 5 at Santa Anita starts in race number 5. It is a first level allowance race going a mile on the turf. It's a small field, Skippy, but I thought very contentious, right? When you look at it, like you can make cases for most in here. Do you have a strong opinion, or did you feel like this was a tougher race in even a smaller field?
No, it's definitely a tough race, even though, like you said, it's a smaller field. But, I think I'm going to take a stand and either single or go too deep in here. The 3 Balladeer looks like the only speed in the race, at least on the form. I know Seven Wonders put the blinkers on the last 2 races, showed some speed last time and got caught late. I've always been a big fan of Seven Wonders. The breeding is very good. They paid $250 for this horse. Peter Urton's having a great meet. I love the way that this horse worked. I believe it was on the 19th and the 11th on the training track at Santa Anita. On the 11th, it was 48-1, but going very easy and just looks like this horse is feeling good. Now he's a 4-year-old. He's getting better, I think, with each start. Look what he did at, second time out. I bet him first time out. He was 31-1. And kind of had a troubled trip, and then I bet him back down at Del Mar, and he was almost 9-1. Then he had some tough trips, and look at his last 3 races. He ran against Percolate. That's a Michael McCarthy horse that won a few after that. Exalted is 4 for 4 on the
turf. Grade 1 winner now.
Right, and it's only 3 lengths off, not even 3 lengths behind that one, with a little trouble and a wide trip going a distance that I don't think that he wanted to do. Last time they tried a new dimension, going to the lead with the blinkers with the Tory on him, and ran really good. Midnight Joe Star came and got him late, but I really like that race. And Peter Urton, like I said, is having a great meet. Rispoli's riding great. I like those 2 works. I'm going to take a stand and single Seven Wonders here. The one that I also thought was maybe Sarwar. I want to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, this is the horse that I'm going to be using for sure because he's just better than that first race in the country was. It really looked like one of those situations where this horse hadn't run since June of 2022, so it was coming off a long layoff already, and then right off the bat, really slow start, and then just didn't really have much of a shot. You could see the horse didn't run poorly, but didn't really fire. I think got a little fitness out of that. Now has been in the barn for a while, for a couple
Right.
months, much more acclimated. Powell is so good with these types. We actually saw a similar type horse last week that was first time in the U.S. That knocked me out of the pick six on Monday. I think the horse right up the rail, the number 8
Yeah.
horse actually ran well, and that was after Leonard Powell had tough luck earlier on in the day with the horse who had a pretty tough trip that got stuck up on the rail. So the horses are running well. He's seeing the ball well right now. I'm going to use the 3 for sure. You mentioned Balladeer, the fact that this horse looks like the one to catch. I think the plan is just go. In a few of his more recent races, he's gotten a little caught up trying to sit off. And sometimes that's not what the speed horses want to do, right? They're just a little bit better when they can get out front, kind of get freewheeling. I think he'll have the opportunity to do that in this spot. And like I said, why it's so tough is that I even wanted to mention Reckless Spirit. I don't know if I like him more than others, but his last 2 races are very tough to knock. He had to go really wide when the winner snuck up the rail, time to party, and got a beautiful opening 2 starts back. And then last time out, he just missed again. He was kind of in between. He had legit trouble and had to angle around. So it makes it a difficult race because, you can make cases for any. Skippy's going to take a stand here right off the bat. I'll probably be a little more of a coward to start and go a couple deep and then spread and then single and shorten up a little bit later on. Balladeer, Saguar, definitely in the mix for me in race number 5. So that's the start of your late pick 5 on Saturday. Let's move along, Skip, to race number 6. We have a $20,000 claimer, a non-winner of 3 lifetime, 6 furlongs on the dirt. What's your opinion in here? So you have a single to start most likely. Do you open up a little bit here? Are you still shorter? What's the approach?
I'm going to go a little light here. I really like the way Susie Q's brother won last time. And last time we were doing the show, or a couple weeks ago, I actually liked this horse, a little bit of a price. It was going route to sprint. And I know, what was it? Probably like 3 back that this horse started doing good. It didn't run that good. It got beat a mile to Jackie 6-pack. But then the last race going 2 turns, which I don't think this horse wanted to do. Then they raced it against Open Company, and it won nicely. Now they drop it down to 20,000. I mean, this horse I think should be tough, but these $20,000 claimers, they usually take turns beating each other. And I'm going to use Susie Q's brother, and the other one I'm going to use is this 6 horse, Curly Essa. That horse kind of won. I like how it won last time. It won. It dug in. It was gamely. I like the way that horse won. It could win going to the lead as it showed last time, or it could win from coming off the pace. I know that the numbers aren't quite as fast as Susie Q's brother, but at 8-1, that horse is going to be on my ticket. I'll probably use the 5. That horse didn't run bad either. And then probably those 3, Gino. Those are the 3. I'm going to go 2. What did I say? 2, 5, and 6.
Yeah, the 5, the Minico's probably the one of the horse to sort of start with, because if you really look at his last race, it doesn't seem like he's that fast, but then take another look at how quick they were going in that race. And he was just farther back because they were flying early. I think he can sit a lot more forwardly placed, as we saw just 2 starts back. He was sitting 3rd. Again, they went pretty quick there, but he's actually been able to be on the lead even in fast races. So I don't think he'll be as far back in here. The other worth mentioning, I mean, you talked about Susie Q's brother, so don't have to say a whole lot more there. The one on the outside is slightly intriguing to me, mainly because this horse just overall hasn't done a whole ton wrong. The last few races have been at Los Alamitos, but prior to that, the form at Santa Anita was not bad. And this is another horse who can be forwardly placed, can be right in the mix. So probably combos of 2, 5, and 7 for me in race number 6, 20 non-winners of 3 claimers. Okay, Skippy, a couple of weeks ago, as we move into Santa Anita's 7th race, a couple of weeks ago when I came on your radio show in the morning, tomorrow you'll be hosting the radio show again, the Morning Line sports show. And that goes from 8 o'clock a.m. to 9 o'clock a.m. Give us your plugs again for it.
Yeah, it's the Morning Line Sports Show. It's on KLAA AM 8:30 from 8 to 9. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time with it. We make light of things, but we take it very serious and give out some great picks. We got some great guests on. Gino's one of them. We got Minty Betts. She does a great job and picks UFC fights and plays sports, and I bet a little bankroll for her. And Mike Pranio, the racing sportsbook manager at the Mandalay Bay, he's on. He gives great picks. Football, he's been picking XFL, USFL, and he wins at everything. The guy's amazing. And then we get Bruce Fickelstein, and he does a great job and a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in, and hopefully we'll pick some winners tomorrow.
So reason why I was getting off on a tangent was because when I was on the show with them a few weeks ago, I gave out a horse named Neon Lights, and Neon Lights had a pretty tough trip as we move into race number 7, which is the midway point of the pick 5. Neon Lights is the number 5 in this 7th race. If you are someone who watches replays, you will notice that Neon Lights had a good start, sat third, and was getting a perfect trip, was about 4 lengths behind 2 horses that were battling it out on the front end. He started to roll up into contention without even being asked. He kind of angled out at the top of the lane. He was about to roll right on by, and one of the horses that was tiring took a bad step and kind of veered out right in front of him as his momentum had started to build. Neon Lights had to take up, angle around. He actually came all the way back again and still almost won the race. But if his momentum didn't get completely stopped and had to alter, he wins that race very easily. That doesn't automatically mean that he comes back and wins this race. It's a different field, different circumstances, but I had to start with him because he's been on my watch list. I've been waiting for him to run back after that one. And he may be the type of horse who I single in the middle of a pick 5 here and give me some options, because I don't think he's not going to be really short, because the horse to the outside is going to take some money too. Right, Skippy?
Yes.
Park City and Bolt Supremacy has had a couple good races for Papa Padromo. I think there are ways to go in here. The Baffert runner is always going to take some money. So I don't think this horse will be that short. This may be one where I try to separate a little bit. I'd also mention the number 3, Petkoff, as kind of a fun long shot. The dam won on turf, and the only Sib to try turf won on it. So just because this horse didn't fire in that first start, maybe you give him another shot or two coming into the Actine barn, and then Park City, who I mentioned. But I'll hand the baton over to you, Skippy. Talk to us about how you see this 7th race.
Well, I'm going to mention one that you did not mention, and it comes out of the same race as Neon Lights, and that's the 2, Watsonville. This horse, I watched the workouts coming into the race, and it kind of looked like it just in the workouts wasn't switching leads, maybe like it was a little short, maybe like it would need a race. And boy, it ran like it needed a race. The jockey never moved. He never cocked his stick once. He just hand rode it, and it galloped out pretty good. I know Neon Lights had all that trouble, and Gino, that was a brutal beat. I'm so sorry. Why do we land on those brutal beats? I mean, it's unbelievable the way that happens. But I'm telling you, if you go back and watch the replay, not only of Neon Lights, watch Watsonville. The horse was off a little slow, bumped at the start, was on the inside, on the going in the turn. It looked like it took up a little bit. It doesn't show that in the form. And then it came running. It dove down to the inside mid-stretch and galloped out nicely. I think that race is going to do it a world of good. I know Mark Glatt's having a great meet, winning 19%. He does very good, second off the bench at 18%. And look who jumps aboard, the leading rider, JJ Hernandez. So that's not going to help. I don't know if it will get 6-1, but the 2 is definitely going to be on my ticket. I'm going to use the 3 also. Gino mentioned that one. I watched that replay. I think that horse will improve coming out here. It's bred for the turf. Yaktine's got this horse. The workouts have been okay. I'm going to use Neon Lights, of course. And then we got Bolt Supremacy, first time gelding, the ultimate equipment change there. And Park City, I don't know what to do with that one. Yeah. I know it gets first time Lasix, first time gelding, comes out of some good races, packs a wallop. It got to beat a mile, but Sharp Azteca just came back and won that last race coming down the hill. I might have to use Park City on the ticket also. So that being said, I'm going to spread in here, but my top play is the 2. I think that horse is going to move way up second out.
We go to the feature race, which is race number 8, is the Grade 2 Summertime Oaks. Going a mile into 16th on the main track, 3-year-old fillies will be led by the Alley's Look, who is actually 3rd in the Kentucky Oaks. She'll be moving into a new barn, though. She was then in the Brad Cox barn, now in the Christopher Davis barn. She comes out here and faces a group of horses like Any Who to the outside, who's 2 for 2 and earned a very big 90 Buyer speed figure in winning last time out. A talented horse named Ancient Peace, who fits well in here. But Skippy, I got to say again, this might be a race where I try to get a little aggressive with some of the way I build the tickets. And I could even play some tickets. I always play 2 or 3 little tickets and some small ones just in case the horses I really like hit along the way. And then 1 or 2 of the harder races, you can really kind of press all or spread around. This race will be one where I am going to key in on one horse for sure. I like the 2 Window Shopping quite a bit. Another one coming off of just a brutal trip last time out. And it's more than just that last race when you go through all 3 of her races, because we talked about her going into the Santa Anita Oaks and how live she was in that race to take a shot against FISA. In Window Shopping, she debuted back in November of 2022. And as a 2-year-old, in her first start, she went long on the turf. She had one of the more brutal trips you will ever see in horse racing. And it started at the beginning. It was bouncing around and it kept all the way through from the beginning all the way to the end. Just never got a shot. Then she shows back up in March. She hadn't raced since November. She's grown up now. She's a 3-year-old. And they put her in a race that's initially carded for the turf, but it's taken off the grass. And she just crushes a field of 7. She wins by 16 lengths. So they decide, hey, she might really like the dirt. Let's throw her in the Santa Anita Oaks in just her 3rd career start. She's sitting in a pretty good spot. There was a horse who went very fast and sort of was a runoff, and Window Shopping was back about 10 lengths out of it, but was traveling pretty well, and then started to move into some traffic. You could see what was about to develop, and then the horse is right in front of her, Skippy. One of them stops badly, and she has to back up like 2 lengths, loses all of her momentum. Again, that is the point when most horses would just say, okay, I'm done. That happened. I'm going to pack it in. I'm facing graded stakes company, toughest horses I've ever faced. But she didn't do that. After falling back, she came on again, re-rallied, and just missed second behind And Tell Me No Lies. I thought that was a very, very impressive performance. And it feels like Mandela does too, because he comes right back in this spot, doesn't go back to the turf again with the horse who he obviously had high expectations for on the grass. I think it's a really nice spot for her. And again, this is a good race because between her, the Alley's Look, Ancient Peace, doing it the hard way, Any Who, any one of those horses could win. But that's the races where you like to have a strong opinion, where you feel like a lot of people will go different ways. And I'll be leaning on her in some of exotics and some of the exotics in here, Skippy. How about for you in the Summertime Oaks?
I'm right there with you with Window Shopping. I saw that same thing you saw, all 3 races. I love the way that she came back to work. She's coming into her own. She cost $700,000. Mandela knows exactly what he's doing. The other one that I like is the 3, And Tell Me No Lies. Now, this horse in the Kentucky Oaks had a brutal trip. Oh my gosh, got caught wide, and then it got caught wide again, then took up. Throw that race out. That's brutal. We know it like Santa Anita. It's come back to work well at San Luis Rey Downs. I like 2 and 3 in here, and those are the only 2 I'm using on my ticket. 2, 3. I might put the 4. I'm not sold on the Alley's Look. The Alley's Look got a perfect trip in the Kentucky Oaks. Was sitting there inside, all those horses doing the heavy lifting, swung out. I mean, it was a great race. Don't get me wrong. It only got beat 2 3/4. She did, but perfect trip. So I'm going to take a stand against her. I'm going to go 2, 3 for sure, and I might throw in the 4 also. McCarthy's having a strong meet. This horse ran good. I know it was up, in the Tapeta at Golden Gate, but this horse has ran well on the dirt, and it's working well also. So I'm 2, 3, 4 in here.
Okay, Skippy, we're going to go right back to you to close this thing out as we turn the page to the ninth and final. Thanks again for hanging out with us here on the Santa Anita Pick 5 preview show. Remember, anytime you need any great information about some of the events happening, any way to get involved in the Pick'em contest, you can get all that great information at santanita.com. The scratches and changes, they come up early each day. Everything you need, that's your home there. As we turn to race number 9, Skip, start us off here. We'll go $32,000 claimers going a mile on the turf, 4-year-olds and up.
Okay, buddy. Moody Jam ran very impressive. That was an impressive win. Look at the time, 133-3. The horse likes to win, like Santa Anita, but I don't like the 9-5 odds. It will be on my ticket, but this is one I'm going to try to beat. I'm using the one Lost in Space at 15-1. Coming off the layoff, they shipped it up north to Golden Gate, got beat 4 lengths. It was bet that day, and it comes out of a good race. It broke from the 10 hole out of 10, the wide trip. I'm throwing that race out. I think if you go back, coming at Santa Anita, first out, didn't run bad against Dejour. I mean, it got beat 7 lengths, but that was a strong race. We know how good Dejour is. He just ran in the Shoemaker Mile too, grade 1. At 15-1, I think that, look at dropping down the 1 hole with Joe Bravo, Simon Callahan at 15-1. I love the price. I like Rajika. Rajika ran like it needed a race too. The only thing that I'm worried about with this one, and we talked about it last time it ran, was this might be a little too short for it.
Yeah.
Although it's
Deep
one
closer.
Right.
He just needs
But
it
it's
to
one
be
of the-
perfect. Just needs the setup to be perfect, right? Just everything to be
setup.
perfectly timed ride with the pace there to run at. Anyone else you want to mention are on your tickets?
Yeah, I'm going to mention 2 more. I'm going to mention the 4 Overdue. This horse had a brutal trip at the break last time, and Phil D'Amato's been on fire. I'm using him with Rispoli, and my long shot in this race, and I know the numbers aren't as good, but keep an eye out for Van Belvoir. He does a great job. He claimed this horse from Turf Paradise, 20-1 with this that Jock could ride. I'm using that one too at 20-1. I'm just hoping that maybe it's a great claim and see what happens. I love the price there.
Let me tell you too, that will definitely be on my tickets that you hadn't mentioned, as I'll be shortening up in those other 2 races. So here I can have some opportunities here. I can have a good amount in this last race, but I think the 7 Rip City is the one to catch. So if I'm closing some exotics, I want this horse on the ticket just in case, because there are versions of this race where he gets loose and he could be tough to run down. The one who I like the most in here, and if this horse is anything in the 5-1 plus range, I'll be willing to bet him to win. That is Growth Engine. So this is a 7-year-old who's only had 11 career races. And when you start diving into his whole career, he hasn't done a whole lot wrong. His problem has been he seems to have physical issues. He's just had so many starts and stops in his racing career. He debuted back in 2019. He ran twice, first and second, and then was off for a few months. He came back. He ran twice again, second and second. So his first 4 races, he was in the top 2 in all 4 of them. Then he was off for a full year. He showed back up. He won nicely. He ran 3 times in the year 2020. He won 2 of them and finished 3rd. All of them were good races. Then again, the 4 horses off from September of 2020 to March of 2021. He shows back up and he actually comes out to Southern California, but he's in 2 stakes races in kind of tough spots. And it just felt like something wasn't right because he didn't really fire in all of them. I will say that first one, he had a little bit of trouble, and it's a little better than it may look on paper. He was only 4-1. So those 2 races are done. Then again, Skippy, he shows back up in 2022. He gets 1 race in all of 2022, and that's in June. He's off again from June to May, so 11 months off. In his last race, if you watch that replay, he bobbles at the start, then he gets caught 3 wide going into the turn. He's 3 wide in the second flight, and he just runs like a horse who's a little short and who needs the race. That 1 race might get so much fitness into a horse like this who's had to start and stop and start and stop and start. He could really gain a lot out of that 1 race. So Growth Engine, for me, no doubt about it, second start off the layoff. and the long layoff, and he's had so many of those layoffs, but his races are pretty solid when you start. I like to call it archaeology. When you dig, you do the digging,
Right.
you go race by race and you dig into each one of them. So for me, Growth Engine was at least one more to mention. I think we did a pretty good job without Chappie here today, huh?
I think we did a great job, buddy. I think
Yeah.
we did a great job. He's going to be wanting his job back next week. We might not let him back.
I know, and we have to give a shout out to our great producers, Rachel, who helped set this
Yes.
all up for us, Andrew, who's pulling the strings in the back, and he's going to be shutting the show down in just a minute for us. But Skippy, I'll be chatting with you tomorrow in the morning. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
You know, buddy, I do. You're right with Rip City in the last race. The trainer, Lorenzo Ruiz, does a great job at Los Alamitos, and he's been doing a good job at Santa Anita. With Ricardo Ramirez, the jockey from Los Al, you're right. That they're sending with that horse. And I got to use the 7 Rip City at 12-1 on my ticket also. You talked me into that. It was a pleasure doing the show with you. Make sure you guys turn into AM 830 tomorrow from 8 to 9, the Morning Line Sports Show. Gina will be on there. And Andrew, you're doing a good job. It was great to see you at the Folds of Honor. That was a great event that Santa Anita put on, and a lot of fun, and very good turnout too.
9-race card on Saturday at Santa Anita. First post 1 o'clock Pacific time, and the pick 5 that we discussed starts right around 3 o'clock or so Pacific time. Good luck to everyone on Saturday. Thanks again, and make sure to tune in the next couple of weeks. We'll have a couple more of these shows to finish out the meet on Friday nights, previewing some of the big races at Santa Anita on Saturday.